What is something that scared the hell out of you as a child, but wasn't meant to be? Scary? Mine are in the comments. Edited, removed my answer from post to comments per mod request. Also, I'm aware of the unnecessary comma in my title. About 10 of you were nice enough to point it out. I can't change it now though, so if it's really that big of a deal to you, you can either move on to another post or else feel free to grab a spoon and eat my ass. Edit. Now I feel like some people are mentioning Chuck E. Cheese because I admitted I used to be the person inside the costume. I promise I never hurt any little kids. I was 16 at the time. I guess. My brother had nightmares for years about hands coming up out of the ground to grab him. He had to have therapy and everything. The fear came from a commercial for Miracle Gyro. Your brother would not like the Shadow Temple in Ocarina of Time. The air conditioner from the Brave Little Toaster. I don't think it was meant to induce night terrors. That movie must have been designed to scar children. Do you remember the flower that falls in love with the toaster and then dies of sadness? Everything about that film was scary as shit. The air conditioner wasn't quite as batshit insane as the clown, but still, my parents used to say they were getting eaten alive by mosquitoes. I thought they were actually getting eaten alive and I was never going to see them again. I was convinced that the TV controls, if pressed while pointed at me, would give me radiation poisoning. My brother realized this and used to torture accordingly. My mum getting a makeover. I came home from school, started crying, locked myself in my room, and screamed, "Give me back my mother." Didn't come out until my dad got home from work. I was 5. Oh my god, you just reminded me of the time my mum got a bad perm in the early 90s and I had a full-on meltdown and she felt even worse about it. I was maybe 5 or 6. When my dad was 21, he grew a full beard as he got tired of looking like he was 15. A few years later, when I was 3, he shaved the whole thing off after he trimmed it badly. I came home from a friend's house a few houses away and he was outside talking to the neighbor. According to my mother, I took one look at him, started screaming and ran away from him. Picture my dad trying to chase me down the block to calm me down, while I ran faster and became increasingly more hysterical and terrified of him. According to my mum, she says I refused to be anywhere near him until it grew back in. My dad has never been clean shaven since. My mum blames me. I came home from first grade once and found a strange man sitting on the couch like he owned the place. I remember being angry when he talked to me like he knew me, instead of first telling me who he was. It was my dad with no moustache. Also in first grade, my dad, who donned a moustache my entire life, came to pick me up after shaving it off. I didn't recognize him and pleaded my teacher not to let the strange man take me away. My mum got a belly button ring when I was young, maybe 6-7. I demanded she remove it. Edit, I talked to my mum today and she told me. I said, "Why you want to look like Britney Spears?" My dad, who had a full beard my entire life up to that point, decided to shave his face on a whim when I was 5. The first time I saw him, I began screaming and crying and hid in my room. I sort of got used to it, but it made me uneasy and I couldn't look directly at him until it grew back. He never shaved it again, even to this day. I'm now 28. My sister used to have recurring nightmares about Kermit the Frog. At first, Kermit would be a wizard, and then he would just multiply and thousands of Kermits would fall from the sky like the plague. It scared the crap out of her. Needless to say, we found it hilarious. She should probably never watch Magnolia. That fucking pink elephant scene from the movie Dumbo. Edit, now watch it in demonic G major. That whole drunk scene made me trip balls as a kid. I didn't like watching Dumbo. It was borderline terrifying. If we're talking about drunk scenes in children's movies, how about the Pleasure Island scene in Pinocchio? I always got really scared when the kids started turning into beasts of burden. Edit, here's a video of Lampwick's transformation in case anybody wants to have nightmares tonight. Doors, they had to be all the way open, held in place by a door, stop, or completely closed. I was convinced I could see the door move otherwise, and was terrified by what was moving the door. A close second would be wood paneling. I grew up in a trailer and the walls were all wood paneled and the walls looked like lots of eyes always staring at me. There was a particularly scary monkey face in the wall next to my bed. I was pretty sure the entire trailer was trying to kill me. I was scared of pansies. Yes, the flower. I am aware of the irony. The reason was that I thought they looked like scary men with moustaches. For example, That reminds me of the talking flower scene from Alice in Wonderland. I never liked that scene. The robot band at Chuck E. Cheese. Fuck that shit. Ghost of Christmas Past and A Muppet Christmas Carol. Lady Elaine from Mr. Rogers' Make-Believe Neighborhood scared the shit out of me. I had a boss who looked exactly like her. Bad times. The fucking apple trees in The Wizard of Oz. Don't know why, but they gave me horrible nightmares. My mother still gives me shit about how she came running into my room after hearing me screaming that the apple trees were throwing apples at me. Fucking traumatizing. Ernest scared. Stupid. There's a scene with a kid in bed. He checks under the bed for the troll, but it's not there. Relieved. He sits back up and the troll is in bed with him. Really fucked up, little 8-year-old me. I know your pain. Fuck wooden dolls. Stay Puft Marshmallow Man in Ghostbusters. That evil face he made when he made it to the top of the building, forever nightmares. I used to be afraid of shaving cream, thinking that it would turn into the Marshmallow Man. The beginning of the 1987 version of The Secret Garden, where Mary's parents are all sick with cholera and lying around on the table. And, being a child, I was too scared to tell any authority figures that I was terrified. So I always had to watch that part and didn't fast forward through it. These days, I fast forward. The vacuum. I used to cry whenever my mother vacuumed. Are you my cat? Yes. Please clean the litter box. That episode of SpongeBob where he has a magic pencil and draws a himself. That shit gave me nightmares. When I was 3 or 4, one of my parents' friends dressed up in a Barney suit for my brother's birthday party. When I went into the garage after the party, there was a whole group of grown-ups standing in a circle around Barney and my dad. Then, I watched my dad get up on a stool, reach up, and take Barney's head off. It was like some weird sacrificial dinosaur ritual. I still haven't recovered from that experience. Barney visited my sister's first birthday party. When it was time for him to come out and surprise all the kids, no one could find him. Turns out he was down out in the driveway getting plastered with my dad. His head was on. That's a story your dad must love telling. Got plastered with Barney. The episode of SpongeBob with that damn butterfly. That close-up of the butterfly's face has given me a deeply rooted fear of insects since I was a kid. Fuck you, Nickelodeon. My mum put a painting of a clown up in my room when I was about 4. It scared the shit out of me. I virtually never slept. And when I did, I had dreams of the clown coming out of the painting, wielding a knife. I didn't tell my mum because for some reason I can't remember why I thought I was being punished for something. I think we can all agree that Furby can go fuck itself. Play with me. Their eyes always following you. One time I literally took out the batteries, but at around that night the little bastard starts to scream even though it had no power source. Oh God. When their batteries started to get low, their speech would slow down and get really deep, like they were serial killers disguising their voices on the phone. The call is coming from inside the toy box. I shit you not, my Furby spoke in tongues once, and not Furbush or whatever the fuck it was just different. I'm sure there's a reasonable explanation for it, but the memory of it still freaks me out. I have an old Furby in my bedroom on a shelf. It overlooks my bed. I know no fear. Edit, Teal fucked and if people still have their Furbies. Definitely this. I had a Furby as a child, and when it started to run low on batteries, I locked in the depths of my closet. However, this was terrible because every time it made a sound, I thought he had escaped and was going to kill me. So I worked at Hasbro when they were working on the Furby relaunch. You know why's more terrifying than a Furby? Opening one of the HasLab doors and seeing several skinless, activated Furbies all yabbering away in a room alone. The truck driver's weird eyes from Pee-wee's Big Adventure scared the shit out of me. Tell them Large Marge sent YA. Ronald McDonald. He's just scary as fuck. I had a reoccurring nightmare about Gummy when I was young. I still remember it vividly. Teletubbies. I don't want to go into the full story, but shit, definitely Teletubbies. The baby in the sun freaked me out. I was 14 at the time. My closet. Also. Under my bed. Also, I'm still kinda scared of both of them. Attics and basements. I'm 20. But I still run up the basement steps for my goddamn life. Every time I come home. I had no idea why they were yellow, and it confused and angered me. They were yellow so that if you happened to be flipping through the channels, and you saw a yellow person, you'd know immediately that it was The Simpsons, or a documentary on jaundice. The doll head on robot legs in Sid's room from Toy Story. Chronic nightmares my entire childhood. The old Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory movie. Those children are all dead. Edit, Wonka was a liar and a murderer, and you are all fools for believing him when he said those kids were fine. Excuse me, mister. Clearly insane, man. What happened to the children who were drowned, burned, and exploded? They're fine. Stop asking questions. And you all believe him. You fools. He would kill you too. You know what this chocolate factory needs? A scary tunnel. It doesn't make chocolate, or candy, or anything. It just shows you bugs crawling on people's faces, and chickens getting their heads chopped off. Yeah, great idea. There's no knowing where we're going. Not a speck of light is showing, but the rowers keep on rowing. Didn't Marilyn Manson end up using that clip in one of his tracks because it freaked him out as a kid? Fun fact, the children and the parents weren't acting when that fucking tunnel happened. They knew their lines and that some lights would flash at them, but the bugs and Gene Wilder going full Metal Jacket, you're all going to die, were a complete surprise. Those poor kids were actually scared shitless. To make up for it though, the scene where they enter the candy wonderland was also real, as was the candy. Those giant candy mushrooms were real, and the kids are really surprised amazed by the fact they can eat everything. Also, the scene where Willy Wonka walks out of the factory and meets the kids was also the first time the kids met Gene Wilder. I do believe that none of the kids ever acted again. P.S. Source, and of course, the making of. I recommend you watch it. Those Oompa Loompas are terrifying. I read the book, and they actually never died. The end of the book is similar to the one with Johnny Depp, where they see all the kids coming out and the TV kid is all stretched like Laffy Taffy. So not dead, just horribly deformed. The Windows 95 shutdown screen was terrifying. Mars attacks. I was terrified of those fishbowl helmeted bastards for years. ACK. The waterbed scene in Edward Scissorhands. Lavender Town from Pokemon. Now, people make up all these stories and creepypastas and whatnot. But back then I had no idea about those. And the music used to scare the shit out of me. Got that part of the game done ASAP. Or you could turn down the volume. Ren and Stimpy. That show freaked me out and gave me nightmares. Why my parents let me watch that show, I have no idea. I loved it though. This dates me, I know, but an introduction to screaming psychedelic nightmares for PRE teens. What were they thinking? The Arabian Nights song from Aladdin. I used to cry hysterically every time I heard the damn opening tune. Also, circus people. I'm turning 21 and I still get very uncomfortable and feel like I'm going to get an anxiety attack whenever I see circus people on TV. Edit, I accidentally a word the. I always thought the Arabian Nights song was awesome. It's like I could listen to that all day. Wasn't so much the song as so much the dude singing it. Especially when you got that close up of the dude. Freaked me out so much as a kid. When you say circus people, are we talking sideshow or just anyone working at a circus? E.T. Fuck that shuffling, wrinkly cunt. I hope he makes it back to his shithole planet and stays there. His fingers freaked me out, the way they finged. I'm with you there, man. I was fucking terrified of that bug-eyed fuck. And his voice. Fuck. Like it was reaching deep inside of me and taking a dump on my soul. Dude, when he's lying on the riverbank all white. All the fucking dudes in space suits? Jesus, I had nightmares. The crazy thing is I watched it a couple of weeks ago for the first time in years and it was still creepy. My parents tell me that when I went to see that movie as a child, I ran out of the theater screaming. Evidently it was the scene where he pops his head out and shrieks. I must have gotten over it though, as I've seen pictures of me when I was around 5 years old wearing ED shirts. Actually found a photo of me wearing my ED shirt. I'm so glad this is at the top. I watched ED as an adult, figuring it couldn't be as creepy as I thought it was when I was a kid. Nope, still fucking creepy. I finished Ray watching it, hiding in my hoodie. Never again. I hear the familiar din of insects as I shuffle through the bushes in the dark. I find a private spot, away from the light and the laughter from the others. Still talking and drinking in the cabin. With a groan of pleasure, I unzip my pants and relieve myself. Suddenly, the bush moves. I shriek and jump back in terror as a creature steps out. E.T. Smell piss? The grey, wrinkly creature looks like the absurd result of a garden gnome's love affair with a potato, his bald head spattered with piss. Stay the fuck away from me, you wrinkly cunt, I shout, stumbling backwards towards the cabin. I trip over the pants, still hanging around my feet, and fall to the ground. Face first, the strange creature shuffles over to me, stretching out a long finger. Pointing at my exposed bum, the tip of the finger glowing bright. "Prepare your diddly hole," he calmly said in his shaky voice, sounding like an old man. I run in panic, pulling my pants up as I go. I glance over my shoulder to see a glowing finger, slowly and steadily shuffling toward me. Not my diddly hole. I'm not prepared, I mumble under my breath, running towards the lights and sounds of the cabin. There's a rapey fetus alien behind me. I burst through the door and everyone stops mid-motion. Drinks and cutlery hovering in the air while their wielders stare at me dumbstruck. The silence is broken when the door swings open again and the alien steps through. "Oh, look at him. He's so cute," one of the girls exclaims, starting towards the creature. "No, what? That is not cute. That is the devil." But she ignores me, approaching it like you would a puppy, patting it gently on its head. "E.T., rape your last." He smiles up at her before shoving her aside and resuming his chase, glowing finger raised like a weapon. I round a corner into the living room, screams of panic turning into screams of pain and horror from the room behind, mixed with a creepy chuckling. Wasting no time, I grab the gun hung over the mantelpiece and dig out some bullets from the nearby locker, my friend's screams filling the air all the while. "We don't take kindly to weirdos here, this is America." The first bullet catches the side of its wrinkly face, splitting it, sending a shower of red goo across the cabin, its fingers dropping from the belt buckle it was struggling with, losing its glow. I was going to say this. My mum bought this movie with the hopes of touching my LIL heart, but all hell broke loose when I saw that scary piece of steak with blue eyes. OHH, the horror. I still have nightmares. I love that this tops the list. Stupid little alien gave me so many goddamn nightmares. Remember when he was lying in that creek bed, dying? When my class was learning about pollution and global warming in kindergarten, I freaked out. They were teaching us to recycle and be friendly to the environment, but I thought they were basically telling us it was the end of the world. Couldn't stop crying for days. King Ramses encouraged the cowardly dog. Return the slab or suffer my curse. Fucking nope. I know it was supposed to be scary, but this particular scene was way too scary for the target audience. I was terrified of Santa Claus. All of my little friends could hardly wait to go sit on his lap and tell him what they wanted for Christmas, but not me. No way. If I knew he was in a store somewhere, I refused to even go near the entrance. I can relate to the movie A Christmas Story with the kids in the Santa scene screaming in terror at him. I used to stay up all night Christmas Eve. Not from excitement, but from fear. Plus, the dude snuck into your house at night. There are other words for that, and none of them are good. Jumanji. Fuck everything about that film. Oh my god, I forget this movie existed until now. You're right. Fuck everything about that movie. Especially the giant mosquitoes and evil plant things and pissed off poachers. I hated Zathura more. It had that fucking robot. And the space scene. The motherfucking dark fucking crystal. That shit was terrifying. My mum found the Skeksis to be too intense, so she tried to prevent my sister and I from watching it. I found them to be effectively scary, but only as they were meant to be scary in the movie. I loved that kind of scary good shit. So scary it's good. So good it's scary. Just tell 'em Large Marge sent YA. Oh my god, what was that fucked up thing? The Iron Giant. He was supposed to be good, but when his eyes went red, hell no, you bet I was hiding in the kitchen. Courage the Cowardly Dog. I cried every time I watched that show. Return the Slayerab or suffer my cuis. But IT was meant to be scary. That guy, Freaky Fred, who had a deep voice and was obsessed with being Norwoody, was beyond terrifying to me. That gave me the most horrific nightmares. It put me off as a child. It wasn't like I was afraid, just troubled. I always felt wrong when it was over. But since it's now on Netflix, I've been watching it a lot lately and find it not that bad. The evil package was a window squeegee. The car wash felt trapped and impending doom. I had this watered-down kid version of The Legend of Sleepy Hollow, and it scared the crap out of me. It wasn't even a video, just the book cover creeped me out so much that I threw the book in that infinite space in between the couch and the wall. Never to be found again. Nope. It's still there between the couch and the wall, watching, waiting. The Count from Sesame Street. I was literally terrified of curtains because I always thought the Count was behind them. This fear lasted years. Disney's Alice in Wonderland. That movie was nightmare fuel for years. Oh yeah, let's put scissors with Aya in it. The kids will love that. I've always preached. How the hell is that a movie for kids? Still one of my favorite films of all time, but I totally get where you are coming from. It's just sort of oppressing. I was a bit scared of it as a kid too, but learned to love it as an adult. There is something about a world where nothing makes sense that is just off-putting. Where it really gets scary is when you start realizing that no matter how much Alice panics and no matter who she meets, nobody makes any sense or even cares all that much. I think it sparked something in me when I was a kid. I never wanted to be left alone, because I wanted to know that there was someone there that could explain me stuff and who actually made sense. I used to have nightmares about my parents not making sense, which sounds funny now, but it was terrifying. Something weird is happening and you don't know what, and your own parents are not even properly answering your questions. One of the reasons why I find the early Silent Hill games quite scary. Everyone acts like they are not seeing the same things as you are, which horrifies me. Mascots and other large, fluffy, animal-costumed humans. I lived in DC as a child and we went to the White House for the Easter party thing. I ran away from the Easter Bunny screaming. Similar things happened with the local minor league baseball team's mascot and the man dressed as a gorilla on Halloween. Glad to report I've manned up since Thenistum Lilskid. Alf. As a kid he used to give me nightmares. And he eats cats. I'm with you. Still makes me uncomfortable for some reason. Oh man. As a kid, Alf and I were BFF. Oh no, I loved Alf. The bear from Polka Dot Shorts. I used to get awful nightmares of him standing in my bedroom doorway, blocking the exit, and walking towards my bed. Fucking terrifying. The Sandman from the original Star Wars. Damn, the grunting and just everything about them gave me nightmares. Buddy. I was scared of Yoda when I was 4. Dead end signs. When I was 5. My older brother told me some false meaning of dead end. I don't even remember what he told me now. But for a while I never stepped foot down a dead end road. I remember once he and one of his friends went biking down a dead end. Little 5-year-old me was warning them not to go down there. Edit, I believe he told me that at dead ends, there was a monster hiding under the manhole cover that would jump out and eat you. The kids' TV show Lift Off Australia had talking backpacks, a colony of frill-necked lizards that were planning to take over the world, and a doll with no face that would only communicate with hand gestures and blank looks. Freaked me out. Apparently Mum wouldn't let me watch it. Oh my god. Do you know how long I've been trying to remember the name of that show for? 15 years. I used to watch it as a kid and then moved and forgot what it was called, but never forgot the actual show itself, and it's pissed me off since. That faceless doll thing was really creepy. Edit. Also, do you remember Bump in the Night? I know it was an American show, but I remember watching it in Australia. That shit was terrifying. That closet monster was straight from hell. Oh my fucking god, those goddamn boobers or something. Seriously, the fuck was up with them? Their eyes would crack when they looked around and shudders. I'm pretty sure the target audience for that show was like 5-year-olds. The George Washington face on a dollar bill. It sounds ridiculous, but one night when I was like 4, I had a nightmare he came alive out of the dollar bill. Scared the shit out of me. Remember the sun in the Teletubbies? It had a baby in it. That always made me cry. The robot from Alien that got cut in half. I thought he was human and had nightmares for a long time. When I got older and rewatched the movie, I was like, oh. Also, Gremlins scared the shit out of me. You just fix me a little. Large Margin Pee-wee's Big Adventure. I guess she was kinda meant to be a little scary, but she definitely wasn't intended to be as scary as I thought she was. I had nightmares for years. Alright, guys. I got this. I'm 12 and it's my first night home alone with my brother and my buddy while my folks go out for dinner. We're downstairs playing Mortal Kombat. I hear a noise, something is moving around upstairs. So, with my overactive imagination, we determine it's psycho killers trying to rob us and kill us. What do? Call 9-1-1-1? Nope. Investigate? Hell no. We wait it out, but the sounds aren't going away. I call my neighbor. Short, mustachioed former wrestling enthusiast. He bravely comes over. I scramble to the door to unlock it and let him in. He rushes upstairs and lo and behold, he finds the source of the sound. It was my sister's hamster in a ball. Postscript, my buddy comes up to see if we're okay. He sees the neighbor first, screams and shits his pants. Edit, a few people asked what my neighbor looks like. Very similar to Chris Hadfield, that Canadian who just got back from space. Chris Hadfield. I don't know if it counts as not intentionally being terrifying, but I couldn't watch The Dark Crystal for the life of me when I was a kid. Giant evil vultures with rotting skin eating the life essence of tiny, adorable elves? Man, fuck that. Escalators. When I was a kid about 5 to 8 years old, I felt like I needed to have absolutely perfect timing when I stepped off of them, because I was afraid of tripping and falling down those steel death traps. The inertia you would feel when stepping off of them. And that one particular itchy and scratchy scene on The Simpsons didn't help much either. Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. Fuck you, Voldemort and your weird-ass face on the back of someone else's head. Edit, it actually is the Philosopher's Stone. USA edition is Sorcerer's Stone. I had nightmares about the Chamber of Secrets. The snake and the big spider were chasing me around a maze. Fuck snakes and spiders. I'm surprised I haven't seen the Yup Yup aliens from Sesame Street mentioned. Those damn things always creep the crud out of me. I love those guys. So glad I am not alone. Scared the piss out of me when I was 3 or 4. Then I had forgotten about them for a while, and as a 15 or 16-year-old, stumbled upon them again. What a weird feeling of discomfort. A sensation of, I know I am too old to be scared of this, but I'm freaking out for some Pavlovian reason I cannot explain. You I pip yip 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 yip. Ra do you o roar do yo you. Ooh. Yip 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 yip. Aha yip yip yip. I was always afraid that Michael Jackson was going to pop out of my closet and kill me. The song the GameCube plays when you start it, and Ronald McDonald. But, that's the sound of childhood. I believe I had a vivid nightmare about Superman 2 when I was a young boy. It must have been on TV. The tricky part is, when I went to my parents for solace, they pretended I wasn't there. They definitely wanted me to go back to bed. The bastards. Damn you, Dr. Spock. I think I did go back to bed. If it was me today, I would have gone to the kitchen table and waited them out. I got so used to being scared of going upstairs to use the bathroom at night when it was dark that I was afraid to go during the daytime too. My dad used to complain about this a lot. I understand that you're afraid of the dark, but now you're afraid of the day too? Gloria Estefan, rhythm is going to get you. I didn't know that the rhythm was, but I knew it was going to get me. Scared the shit out of me when I was a kid. Caused many sleepless nights hiding from the rhythm. The food court. One night, when my brother and I couldn't agree on something to have for dinner, my mum said, "Fine, then we'll just go to the food court." I started crying because I thought there was a food judge and I was going to go to the food jail or something. I had no idea. It meant the place in the mall with all of the fast food restaurants. The monkeys in The Wizard of Oz. The show Angela Anaconda. Not exactly scary, but just so. Unnatural and freaky. Who created this show and why? I was afraid of stairs that didn't have the backs. I thought I was going to fall through them. I've had nightmares about them. Jurassic Park gave me nightmares for months, and I have never forgotten the terror of finding a colony of possums for the first time in my life. I had never even seen one. Then boom, there was like 50 monsters hissing at me. The huge magnet from the Brave Little Toaster. Marionette puppets. Specifically the ones from Sound of Music. That scene still kinda freaks me out. The Hobbit 1977 animated version. Those big, creepy eyes were too much for me. Despite this, I loved The Last Unicorn. This will be buried, but thought I would share anyway. I was scared of the drain in the tub. I thought I would go down the drain like the water. My mum would tell me I wouldn't fit, but the amount of water was more than the amount of me. So if it could get sucked down, so could I. I also wanted all of my toys out of the tub before she drained the water. They might die if not. Food mascots. So specifically the kind that walk around the restaurant. Like Ronald McDonald or this really creepy bear in overalls from a Chuck E. Cheese type place called Shoby's Pizza. They'd start coming towards our table and I'd hide under it until they passed. His face in the back of my little poem books gave me nightmares. Used to watch the rugby with the old man as a kid. Enjoyed it a lot until I saw New Zealand doing the haka. It's supposed to disrupt the opponent's focus and intimidate them. Instead, it made 6-year-old me shite my pants and hide. Fuck them. A square-shaped hole in my bedroom wall that had a bag stuffed inside it. Each night, I feared that its head-shaped outline would begin to slowly move and an opening would appear with one malevolent eye that would wink if it happened to look down at me. To this day, I still don't know what was in the bag. Probably for the best. Chitty chitty motherfucking bang bang. Fuck that movie. That movie is the scariest shit for anyone under 10. That child catcher haunted my dreams for years. Although there is a flying car, which is pretty cool. There was a commercial for a cleaning product that showed a toilet turning into a nasty toilet monster. I was potty training. Rowan Atkinson's Mr. Bean character. When something went wrong and he got that panicked expression on his face. Fuck. I had this chair when I was younger. I was convinced that if I sat in it, the face was going to eat me. My dad used to lay on the floor with his head in the chair as a pillow, and I would scream and drag him out of it. When I was little, I was afraid of giant raccoons. I have no idea why. My parents took an empty air freshener can, filled it with water, labeled it raccoon spray, had to spray my windows, closet, under my bed, and door so that they wouldn't come in my room. Get me. To this day, I will never live it down. I have no explanation for this but ironing boards. I wasn't particularly scared of them in real life, but my nightmares would revolve around running away, terrified, constantly being chased by them. Then one night, I had a dream that changed everything. I was in a department store with my mum and she took me to the entrance and told the security guard that I'd like to be unsubscribed from the ironing board. Nightmares. Voila, never again. Maybe I was just a strange child. The Easter Bunny always scared me. One time as a child I went to get my picture taken with the bunny and I could see the man in the costume. From that moment on, I thought the Easter Bunny ate people. I was terrified by the movie Matilda. I left the theater halfway through the movie. Any mascot, especially McDonald's mascots, every fucking detail in the brave little toaster, that horrible, ominous feeling that overshadowed the whole movie, that buzzing sound the magnet made in the junkyard when it was coming for them. All of it was nothing but bad in the purest sense. I watched it when I was very, very little and I still haven't gone back to re-watch it. I don't think I ever will. An episode of Rescue 911. Some old dude had a heart attack while driving and Mr. Judah with the voice narrated what led up to his attack and his resuscitation and rescue. I was like maybe 4.5 years old. The concept that we were full of parts that could break down and malfunction was one of pants-filling terror to me at that age, because what I didn't get was that the likeliness of this happening was related to our age. So I thought that just everyone walked around all the time on the verge of a heart attack or kidney failure, and it kept me up for weeks. The dolls, the massive collection of porcelain dolls my mother insisted on keeping in my room, especially the porcelain clown dolls, always staring and grinning and plotting my torture. I slept in the closet often. For anyone who has watched the WGBH identifier, you'll understand. That noise was the scariest thing ever. Lion statue in the zoo. I couldn't understand why my parents would force me to sit on something so horrifying. My fear of clowns was overshadowed by my brother's fear of the ice cream man. When the faint jingle from his speakers began to get progressively louder, you brother would jump in our sandbox and put the lid over it so he couldn't be seen. Those fucking pink elephants from Dumbo. I hate clowns and mascots. When I was a kid, I would hide from Chuck E. Cheese in the ball pit. Those yep guys from Sesame Street. They were too soft and floppy somehow. The witch from The Wizard of Oz scared the shit out of me. Casper the Ghost's 3 cousins. I don't know why, Casper didn't scare me, but his 3 cousins were scary. I had reoccurring nightmares as a kid that Chester the Cheetos cheetah was coming to kill me. Also horrible, paralyzingly frightening nightmares where I'd be somewhere, and I knew that 2 warthogs were coming, and I never knew what was going to happen. But it was worse than death. Fuck you, Pumbaa. The last boss from Star Fox? I don't even know why is it so scary, but it just made me cry and hide inside the closet. When the real-life Chuck E. Cheese came out at 2 p.m. Notice I still remember exactly when that cheeky motherfucker brought upon my reckoning. The testing of the emergency broadcast system. Winnie the Pooh and the Blustery Day. The Heffalump and Woozle dream scene freaked me out. The lava scene from Fantasia. Swimming pools, I was terrified sharks would appear at any moment. Fucking Chuck E. from Chuck E. Cheese. Seeing the food actually cooked. Supposedly, I once cried and yelled at my mother to cook chicken back. My dad has for a long time had to use a air pump while he slept for his sleep apnea. It stops him from waking up, choking, and makes sleeping more comfortable. My impression of this was totally different. I thought that if he went to sleep without it, he would die. When he would take a nap and didn't have it on, I took it upon myself to try and discreetly wake him up by making a lot of noise outside the room. I was convinced he would die, but at the same time I didn't want to wake him up and make him mad, so I tried to make it look accidental and obvious it was me. Later, I learned that he can nap fine without it. He just needs it for overnight sleeping. When I told my parents about this, they thought it was really endearing. I had been worried, but I remember being really terrified standing in the doorway thinking Dad's gonna die. Trying to play the hero by interrupting my dad's naps. Fail. Those guys with dog heads and human bodies on Sesame Street. That shit is still scary. I have always been extremely superstitious about turning a full circle while in the shower. I'm always afraid some demon will appear or something. No idea where that fear came from. This fucker right here. His teeth were way too sharp. Clowns. They're still scary though. Maybe a Scandinavian thing. But the Moomins was just terrifying. I would lose my shit when the Groke came to Moomin Valley. The scene where the Siamese cats are singing in Lady and the Tramp. Nope. My family and I went to Disney when I was about 5. The Tree of Life made me cry uncontrollably. I don't know what it was, but all I remember was that it smelled terrible. Elmo. If he could try to not tickle me or laugh, my life would be great. Wallace and Gromit and Chicken Run left me utterly petrified as a child. Can't explain why, but there is something terrifyingly inhuman about their eyes. Mr. Rogers' puppets. I know he was a great guy and all, but as soon as that little train left his front room, I'd turn off the TV and cover my eyes because those puppets freaked me out. I used to think the Swedish chef from the Muppets was under my bed. Seeing him on TV would scare the crap out of me. When I was about 5 or 6, my parents were making a nice dinner for us and my dad thought I'd think it was funny to see the raw chicken dancing for me. Nope, opposite effect. I started bawling at how sad it was that a dead chicken was dancing when it obviously couldn't and wouldn't anymore. My poor dad. He was dumbfounded because that chicken had some pretty sweet moves. In retrospect, the dancing chicken was funny. German shepherds. I used to get off the bus and wait for my mum to pick me up, and there was one that lived there. He knocked me down, pinned me to the ground, and would hump me. Happened a few times till I was so scared to get off the bus there. I'd lie to my driver and tell her I was supposed to go to my grandparents. To this day I hate shepherds. I used to have dreams about it, but not anymore. My husband has gotten a few laughs about it too. I was completely terrified of rabbits after I saw Donnie Darko. I still am. The opening sequence to Reading Rainbow. That kid got turned into an old man. The California raisins. I refused to eat them as a child because I thought they'd still be alive and dance on the way down. I eat them now though. The little purple bastards can take it. I doubt anyone will see this, but car washes used to scare the shit out of me. No idea why. But I'd nope, the fuck right out of there. The show You Can't Do That on Television was banned in my house because my brother got freaked out whenever someone got slimmed on and would be inconsolable for a good hour afterward.